Hi, can you hear me? I have my microphone on. Oh. Darn, it's not working. Where did it go? Sorry, I'm just trying to get one thing into the chat box. So one moment, that's the only thing I'm trying to get. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. Please cross my fingers. I need to start using the new one. Okay, got it. Please work. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me for today's August Sunday service. We typically have a Sunday service. We try to have 2 services a month. There's only 3 months of the year that we only have 1 service a month, but we try to do 2 services a month, and that's typically when we have our monthly service and our monthly memorial service together. And so the second service will always be a Sunday service. And today, this happens to be one of those Sunday service days, which also means today we have a Shintoku Academy mini lesson as well. Um, if you notice inside the chat box, I put the link for the Google form. So if you can fill that out as well so that I know who you are and so I can put your name in the prayer notebook. I also have a special notebook in here for those who have come to church as well. So I put your names in there. Please fill that out. And if you have any special requests, please put it, your requests or prayers that you like in there as well. And that's all for the timing. But also, if you look in the description for the YouTube, you'll also see that there is a link for today's workshop, for today's Shintoku Mini Academy lesson. There's a link for the worksheet that we're going to be using. So if you want to, please take the time to download that. I'll give you some time between the services to do that, but please feel free to do that. All right. So without any further ado, let's begin with a prayer of sincere toritsugi. Haide. Prayer of sincere toritsugi. I am a Konko Kyo believer. I believe in Ikigami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. I've come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane no Kami, honor the ancestors, and learn more about the faith of Konko Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane no Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and I will never be the same as long as I practice the faith and receive toritsugi. Kigami Konko Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane no Kami sama, thank you. Haide. 日曜拝礼 for sincere claps. If you go into the description portion, there's a link for today's service orders, and there's also links to today's prayers as well. 天津のりと高万の反乱にかむずまります。かむろぎかむろみのみこともちてすめみおやかむいざなぎのみことつくしのひゅうがんの立ちばなのおどのあわぎはらにみそぎはらいたまうときにあれませ。あらへどの神たちもろもろのまがごと積みけがれを払いたまい清めたまえと申すことのよしをあまず神国つ神やおよろずの神たちともに雨の淵こまの耳振り立ててきこしめせとかしこみも申す。親先生、本日議をもちまして、歴代金光様ご拝礼申し上げたてます。今日、水上金光大臣様ご拝礼申し上げたてます。天地金の親神様ご拝礼申し上げたてます。広大なる御影を被りまして、夜前も、今朝も、今日も、時々国国万事万端に広大なる御影を被りまして、結構千万ありがたい御礼申し上げたてます。京都神と一道におきましても、夜前も、今朝も、今日も、時々国国万事万端に広大なる御影を被りまして、結構千万のありがたき御礼申し上げたてます。天が下打ち小一道におきましても、日々昼夜万事万端に広大なる御影を被りまして、結構千万ありがたき御礼申し上げたてまつります。一道のうち子、広大なる道のお授けくださいまして、結構千万ありがたき御礼申し上げたてまつります。この段、一道になり変わりまして、ご一礼申し上げたてまつります。京都神道一道より、天が下一道におきましては、これまでいかなるご無礼をすますごきざりございましょうとのないどうぞ許し出されますようお願い申し上げたてますります。親代々よりいかなるご無礼罪巡りのございましょうともお差し許しされまして、一同のうちお願い成就万事万端都合よく、何卒安心の御影お願い申し上げたてまつります。Mediation Prayer, page 2. Let us seek the sacred mediation of Ikiyami Konko Daijin, sincerely and wholeheartedly, each and every day. May we receive the mediation anew with all our hearts and souls on this day, this very moment. Ikiyami Konko Daijin sama, Ikiyami Konko Daijin sama, Ikiyami Konko Daijin sama, Ikiyami Konko Daijin sama. Kami prayer. Reverently we pray. The brilliance of heaven, the richness of earth, time flows without cease, years pass without end. In heaven and earth is a life that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is a truth that orders all. For this wondrous form, for these wondrous works, let us praise Tenchi Kane no Kami. Let us praise divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. To revere Kami as divine parent, to live in Kami's infinite blessings, this is the way. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in greed and selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes. Great is Kami's sorrow. Our founding father, Konko Daijin, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. He received Kami's great blessing, began the life of mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. Divine Parent's great wish was thus fulfilled. Konko Daijin accepted the call to mediation. that leads to the mutual benefit of kami and humanity. By day, he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, expounding the blessings of heaven and earth. And he knew not the coming of night. By night, he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered. And he knew not the dawning of day. Though years passed and the world changed, he did not waver from his task, divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred Tenchi Kane, the guiding principle for our daily life. Divine favor was thus renewed, and blessings flowed universally, establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Ikigami Gonko Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way. Through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul, the way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami. Without regard for day or night, whether we are near or far, the way of mediation teaches us to pray with total trust. For living unaware of divine favor, we offer sincere apologies and pledge to mend our ways. Let us live our faith every day, seeking and rejoicing in your divine favor. Let us care for those in pain and invite them to the way. Let us guide those who are lost and awaken them to a life of purpose. Kami is fulfilled in us. We are fulfilled in Kami. May this way of mutual fulfillment be manifested in this world. May Kami's wish for true peace and the well-being of all people be fulfilled. So we humbly pray. So we earnestly pray. Prayer for Grace, page 3 of the Prayer Book Supplement. Kami-sama, give me grace for this day, not for a lifetime, nor next year, next month, next week, or tomorrow. Yes, give me grace just for this day. Direct my work and bless it. Advise me the things I say and give them blessings too. Direct and bless everything that I think, do, and speak, so that for this one day I have the gift of grace that comes from your presence. Kami-sama, just this one day, let me live generously and kindly in a state of grace and goodness that makes me a little bit like you. Shinchu Kinen, silent prayer. ただいま、一度広大なる御加力をもりまして結構と御礼申し上げてはい、蔵や先生にありかりまして御礼申し上げたてまつります。国運発展、世界真の平和の御加力を御礼申し上げて総自己身の上安全万事安心の御加力を御礼申し上げて本教のますます盛大発展の御加力を御礼申し上げたり、行主根高そのおかれまし、おかされまして、日々昼夜万事万端の差し支えなく、ますますご比例によって願い申し上げたります。玉水親教会歴代王戦争御霊様、三里御教会初代の御霊様、ますますご比例の手、お願い申し上げたてます。本部広前大阪教会、道広教会、玉水親教会等教会をはじめ、各教会とも比例発展の御限をお願い申し上げたてます。親先生におかされましては、病気、病難のございます。せぬよう、お体、ご丈夫、ご寿命長久、日々、昼夜万事万端にお差し支えなく、ご比例ので、お願い申し上げたてますります。この度のコロナ感染流行にきましては、早くに感染状況の早くに申し上げましたのものにしたい。お願い申し上げたてます。国家民族の争いをはじめ、第一編による会社の大家さん、長寿の恩やせをつ行方不明の事故におきましては、早くに判例のします。となりましたる事故の見た真の申し上げ、さをはじめ、無因並びに、目の事故におきましては、日々の上、向けさせていませんよ。一節、成就安心の恩願い申し上げています。農業のうちは、電池店とも、実りよく、大虫の災い、のきもございませんよう、北条、駆逐に至るまで、 安全一節常駐、申し訳ないです。商業の内子におきましては、商売の会話、売り場と、都合よく申し上げ立てます。商業の内子は日々を万事の一節は、老中安心の御神を申し上げ立てます。老中三女、働くうち、足の町なく、それを安心の悔やそんで申し上げて、働くは、な、過ちなく、安心、悔やそんで申し上げます。大いのもう自己は、過ちをの、いずれも頼るもの。本名、したるうちは、それぞれ学業のうちこにおきましては、体上部の愛の類々、過ちございますのよ。思想に過ちございますのよ。学業上中に、妊娠のうちは、地位の有因のうちに犯罪して、体の上部、下の愛になりますよう、申し上げます。心得しがい。愛のうちは早かにお願い申し上げます。その他、早かに申し上げます。京都新統一と代々のこれまでにご無礼罪にございましょう。ちなみに、当安心の御で申し上げ立てます。京都新統一とにおきましては、病気、病難、不治災害、都合、盗難のございますのよう、体の作業成就、で、願い成就、万事万般、都合よくご安心のめぐります。が、病気、または天地のご恩を知りませぬうちと、共にお引き寄せくだされまして、信心させていまして、一度安心の御神をお願い申し、この上でも神ながら、神かかり教えについて申し上げ、京都神道一度におきましては、信心の道を誤つことがございませぬよう、損なうことなくございませぬよう、ますます信心を済まし、日々かなる願えることをいたしましょうとも、即参にいただけくださいまして、日々のありがたく、素晴らしく、嬉しく、楽しく、万事万般都合よく、その安心のおかげで、しゃけ立てます。歴代金光様、教祖神金光大臣、天地金神様、今みんな、聞きまして、ますよ。野田親先生、成り代わりました。申し上げ立てます。ご神号法書 Recitation of 金光大臣 Sacred Name。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。ひがみ金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣様。き神金光大臣 様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様生き神今後大臣様Shintoku Sanji, page 29. 仰ぎ祭れば天高く仰ぎ祭れば天高く拝み祭れば地は厚し神の恵み生かさるるみの幸いぞありがたき我が生き神の恩取り次ぎ糸ひもかくる時のなく天地の神の恩守り遠き近きの隔てなしかん慈しみはよろずよにやまねく満ちて果てしなくかん計らいはくすしくて人の思いぞを呼ばざる我ら今月今日やび祭りてひたすらに神の御影をたたえ祭らん神の比例よはおぎ祭らん。一度入れ 4 sincere claps. 一度拝礼 4 sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 11 for prayer to the departed souls. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as the foundation of our society and the roots of our families. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we hand it down to all generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. ゆかはうまし満ちてるみ柱うしはいし Page 4 of the prayer book supplement. あれはおくもしたわしきゆかわのうしはいや。あれはおくもしたわしきゆかわのうしはいや。あれしのぶも懐かしきうましみちてるみ柱うしはや。若の浦和の清き深きみ心持ちて、神を山い道を尊び、何は家の広きと君を思い持ちて、世をわれみ人を救いて、道のみ光よわまかがしよ支援の恵みを国かがし、人の世のもとつ道を極め尽くし、神と人と一つなることわりを、まさやかに教えまつぶさに示したまいし、大き高きみいさおをとうとみ祭りいやび祭らくを、めぐしときこし橋とみそなわして、道の行く手をわんまつひのいやこに守り、教えの子らが行く末を、照る月のいやひろに恵みたまえと、かしこみも申す。Please open your prayer books to page 36 for Sosen Sanji. 世々の親は、我が家の神我が神と心尽くして、いつき祭らな心尽くして、いつき祭らな尊きみ親の神たちよ、海の子のために家の柱を沈め立てたまい初子のために世のなりわい りを守り助けたまい。隔離をの見えぬ境にましませども、右つくしみのみ心は写しよに変わらせたまわず先みたまのまさきく先はえたまいくしみたまのくしみに恵みたまいて志は巻の柱の動きなくなりはゆは結ぶつなめんゆるびなくま心清らに励みつとめしめたまいゆからやからやわらぎやいて日にけにうらやすく楽しましめたまいついに移しよのことを得て神の御門に参らん時には必ずしも迎え取りたまい右つくしみをこむらしめたまわんものと神の実りの絶えなるをかしこみかたじけな耳親の恵みのおぼろげならぬを嬉しみ喜び申すことを見心も涼やかにきこしめしたまえと申す。花くしびのみ親の御霊。花くしびのみ親の御霊。花ととのみ親の神。花ととのみ親の神。Please open your prayer book to page 19 for the newly departed soul prayer. Spirit of the newly departed, we love you now and forever. Fond memories of you fill our hearts. We shall miss your physical presence, yet you will remain in our hearts forever. We pray for your eternal happiness. We sincerely pray with heart and soul. As a beloved child of Kami, you were given the gift of life and sought to live it fully each and every day. As you leave your physical form, please listen to our prayers. Whether in your physical or spiritual form, the universe is your eternal home. May you always be blessed with a peaceful heart. Know that you are always embraced by Kami's love. Jido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Jido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Sencho Bohaishi, 省略し浜田好きかけて祈らないよ世の親。親の身親の神の支配を。 玉出すきかけて祈らなよよの親。親の身親の神の支配を。一度拝礼 for sincere claps.一度拝礼 for sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 6 for the recitation of the Tenchi Kane. ひがみ金光大臣天地金の神一心に願え。ひがみ金光大臣天地金の神一心に願え。おかげは我が心にあり。おかげは我が心にあり。今月今日で頼め。今月今日で頼め。Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within, hearts grateful and caring, in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Oración de Tenchi Kane, page 6 of the prayer book supplement. A través de mi Konko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. A través de mi Konko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. Ore ahora en este momento. Ore ahora en este momento. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Good morning, and thank you very much again for coming to Sunday's service and for the Shintoku Academy mini lesson, not mini academy, but mini lesson. So for those of you who are new who don't know what Shintoku Academy is, it's many years ago when I was still living in Hawaii, we started, there was a group of 3 ministers who got together and we started asking questions. We started thinking, what are these questions that believers have? And so it's very different, like how here in North America, they have this thing called the FTI or whatever, that fun stuff. We took it a different direction in looking at curriculum, at the perspective of what are these questions that believers have from the very beginning, and how can we grow them? And so Shintoku Academy was born. And so we have, unfortunately, I wish we could do a real Shintoku Academy here, because I think with the experiential learning that goes on with it, there's so much to experience, so much to learn. Unfortunately, that's not possible, but I can give mini lessons. And the one lesson I was realizing this last week, the one lesson I never did here was the lesson on the 3 fountains. I never did that. I don't know why I never did it. And it's very truncated. There's an activity that goes after that, but unfortunately we can't do that here. I can't do it live, or maybe you can do it live. and hopefully you'll have the same feelings and reactions that those who participated in that particular I think it was the second Shintoku Academy that at the lower level Shintoku Academy that the students who took Shintoku Academy like really felt something incredibly powerful from it. But fortunately, maybe you can do it at home, but I'll share with you what that additional activity is. But if you go onto the if you go onto YouTube, you look at the descriptions and go down below, there is a link to the worksheet for today. So go ahead and click that. If you can download it, let me give you a few minutes. Let me give you like a minute to be able to do that. If you're here in the Hiromai, I have a copy for you that you can use. And so I'm going to come here. And if you notice, I'll put it one more time in. Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is. Oh, that was weird. I'm going to put the Google Forms in here again. If you're able to, please go ahead, go into the Google Forms and please fill that out. That's to help me know who came today to today's service. So I do have a special thing on the altar back here where I write all the people who came to today's services. So that goes in there and also in the prayer notebook. So please go ahead, click. I don't know if you can click on it, but if you can click on it, please do so. Let me get the PowerPoint set up. And I think it's just better I do it that way. Okay, that should work. So today's present, share screen. I'm doing a window, I'm doing this. Here we go. So today, it's kind of interesting. It's called the Three Fountains of Virtue. Please note that I did not come up with this. Actually, if you went to the Chicago conference, this is the theme of the Reverend Kyoji Konko, who is the fifth Konko-sama's second son. And this is what he presented to all of us. And it's interesting because I have all of most of his presentations he's ever done. I have them all because I just happen to have them all. But what I've done was I've taken it, I've truncated it, and I made it very simple because it's very powerful. It helps us to understand more about the function of a church, the function of our homes, functions of us. Please, if I don't think they recorded it, I don't think it was ever broadcast, but this is just a truncated version of what he taught us. But I think it's enough for you to get the idea of just kind of what the three fountains of virtue are. So let me start off with what it is. So Kyoji Sensei, this is the headquarters worship hall. And Kyoji Sensei had shared during his presentation that one day while he was cleaning the altar area, so just how I clean the altar areas, he was cleaning the altar areas. He had this revelation. That one headquarters was built. I mean, although he knows this, he understands this. It was like an epiphany all over again, where he really felt that this is a place of special spiritual power, or toku, or virtue, the spiritual strength that is very special to Konkokyo headquarters. And while he was cleaning, he had the next revelation or understanding that he had was that he wasn't just cleaning the headquarters worship hall. He was also cleaning the worship hall of every church, every mission or fukyosho, every gathering or shukaisho, or every branch hiromai or shibu, or every kosha, or I don't know how to translate kosha, so you kind of all on your own there. But he realized while he was cleaning this hiromai, he was cleaning all of these places of worship that people go to. And so he began to take this cleaning more seriously. He began taking it as such a special goyo for himself. And that was very powerful, because if you were there hearing this, for someone who's lived in Konko majority of his life, for someone who he's much older minister than I am, he's much older than me, much wiser than me, for him to realize that, kind of like after, if I'm correct, he was in his 40s when he realized this, in his 40s. That's kind of powerful for a person whose last name is also Konko, who's also related to the founder, who's also related to the source of teachings, who's also related to fifth Konko sama, his older brother, sixth Konko sama, to have him realize, make that realization. I think for many of us, that was very profound. That was so powerful because we had, I think for many of us, we did not realize that. We didn't realize that for ourselves. Even ministers at that time, we did not realize that. So for him to share that with us was very powerful. So when he talks about these three virtues, when you think about it, why headquarters, the virtue comes from Kami-sama to Konko Daijin-sama. So while Konko Daijin-sama was born, he was born on the opposite side of Konko Town, across the train station. But where he lived, that was where he practiced his faith. That was where he turned his heart to Kami-sama. That is where Kami-sama gave him this power, this virtue, this spiritual strength, this spiritual power. This power was given to him by Konko Daijin, by Kami-sama. It was Konko Daijin who cultivated this virtue and continued to cultivate it and grow it. And all the successive Konko-samas did this through their prayers for each and every one of us. From the second Konko-sama to the third Konko-sama to the fourth Konko-sama to the fifth Konko-sama, and then to the present Konko-sama, through their daily goyo, or their acts of love, of appreciation. Through this constant goyo, they're constantly cultivating this goyo, cultivating this virtue while receiving more. And I think this is why many people who go to headquarters feel this special spiritual strength there. So by understanding this, that headquarters is this first fountain of virtue, that was received, that was created from Kami-sama to Konko Daijin-sama, the source of teachings. We now know that there's a second, aside from three, there's the first one, there's a second fountain of virtue. And this belongs to the places where people gather to pray, whether it be the church hiromai, a gathering hiromai, a branch hiromai. For us, it's the Chula Vista Kosha. There's also the North County San Diego gathering in the Miai's home. These are places of worship. And these are places where people come together. These are places where people who are for example, the head minister, or the head of the gathering, or the head of the branch, or the head of that shukai or kosha, it's the responsibility of that individual. It doesn't have to necessarily be a minister to take care of this hiromai, right? To take care of it, to cultivate, much like Kyosu-sama did, just like second Konko-sama, third Konko-sama, fourth Konko-sama, fifth Konko-sama, the present Konko-sama. It is now our responsibility to cultivate that virtue. So how do we cultivate that virtue? It's how we care for this virtue. How do we care for this hiromai? How do we care for this space? I am so grateful that the Chula Vista Kosha is within my apartment. I get to care for this space. Every morning, I'm able to offer hatsumizu to this space. Every morning, I'm able to make sure it's nice and clean. Sometimes it's not perfect. I do my best to keep it as clean as possible and to take care of it. To continue the morning prayers and the evening prayers. Sometimes I can't do the evening prayers because I end up zonking out, which is a fact. I do zonk out. I'm human too. Here at this hiromai as well, every Monday I come as a ichishinya, or just one believer, to come and pray and to offer my prayers of appreciation, to do what goyo can be done here in appreciation to Kami-sama. These simple acts are so important. And it doesn't matter if a church is big or small. It doesn't matter. What's important is how it's cared for. Our thoughts are so important. How we think of the hiromai, how we think of the space. Even though the San Diego hiromai is here at the Verli Court, hiromai is part of the Spies Ohana's home. I think of this space as a San Diego Hiromae. This is the San Diego Church. This is a Burley Court Hiromae. So that is very, very, very important. If not, and if we think of it as just a place to drop our stuff off, just I don't know, to throw things in, this is what keeps the valve of virtue open and or tightens that valve. Our thoughts, how we care for things, will either tighten the valve of virtue or allow it to flow, allow that virtue to flow. I think that's very powerful. And this is something that we, as ministers, we who take care of a Hiromae, have to consider. And even believers who come to the Hiromae have to think of as well. I think about back home in Hawaii, where my aunt's church, my aunt founded the Hongkong Mission of Wahiawa. And it's not a very big church at all. It's not a very big church. But it was said, my aunt, the Reverend Haruko Takashi's, her younger sister once said, she believed and claimed that there was close to 300 believers. I don't know if there were really 300 believers there, but we knew that there was a little over 100 some odd members. And just one woman cultivated the virtue. She didn't look at this as just a house. She looked at that this is Kami-sama's land. This is Kami-sama's home. This is a place where people come to receive okage. This is a place where people come to receive okage. They come for toritsugi. So she treated this as Kami-sama's home. She treated this as a place, a sanctuary of safety, a sanctuary of love, a sanctuary where people can run to, not run away from, run to for solace, silence, sanity. And it makes sense then why, for the Wahiawa Church, that valve of virtue stayed open and was just gushing forth of toku. There is so many stories I could share with you that I've heard from the believers there, from my aunts and aunts, just miraculous, ridiculously miraculous stories. But I'm just going to leave it there. This is just a small church. It doesn't have to be a big church. I could talk about the Honolulu church as well, but I wanted to choose something that was a little smaller, which is like my aunt's church. And I believe, when I visited the Atami church in Shizuoka Prefecture, that church, I'm telling you, that Hiromae is as big. I think our space here in San Diego is a tad bit bigger than that church. That's how small it is. The Yokohama Nishi church, that is smaller than our Hiromae. However, how these ministers cared for this church, how the believers care for this church, what are their thoughts towards their individual churches? Did they think of it as, oh, it's just another house? Oh, it's just another extension? No, not at all. These believers, their mindsets and how they cared for the Hiromae allowed the valve of toku, or virtue, to gush out virtue, to just gush out toku. So it makes sense. It makes absolute sense. So I ask all of you, regardless of what church you go to, if you go to San Diego, if you go to Gardena, if you go to San Francisco, if you go to Vancouver, if you go to Honolulu, if you go to Wahiawa or Hilo, or if you go to a church in Japan or a church in Germany, what can you do? What can you do? Not just me. I know my roles and responsibilities. What can you do to keep the valve open? What can we do to respect the sanctity of the church, the divinity of the church, so that people will want to run to church versus run away from church? I think that makes a very big difference, regardless if you're a Christian, you're a Buddhist, you're Tendikyo, you're Seicho no Ie, whatever. How we care for this space, our thoughts determine how that valve stays open. versus how that valve slowly starts to tighten. So let me give you about a minute. Let me give you a minute. On your worksheets, where it says, what will you do? Number 6. I want you to write, think about it, and write what you think you can do to keep that valve of virtue open. Let me give you about a minute. About 20 more seconds. All right. So hopefully you wrote something down, something tangible, and possible. Don't do something that's moody or impossible. Something that's possible. Now, I like this part here. So if you look here, so again, so the virtue from headquarters, right? Virtue from headquarters comes down to our church, right? Or in our case, we're very fortunate here in San Diego. We have 3 places: the North County San Diego Gathering, which is in the home of the Miais, here at the San Diego Church, as well as a Chula Vista Kosha, which is located in Chula Vista, within my apartment. So we have 3. We're so grateful to have these 3 places where the virtue of headquarters comes. Now, whether or not that valve is open wide or shut tight, again, it's dependent on all of us, not just the ministers. Ministers number 1, but it also depends on its members, right? Also depends on its members. I want to. So here's the second Hiromai. So, I want to share something that was kind of powerful to me. I think it was maybe a couple weeks after the passing of Miss Sheila Chapman, and Miss Sheila Chapman is the first wife of the Reverend Norikazu Yukawa. It was after her passing that I came to realize, and it was also, there's a worksheet that we had done for the mid-year purification appreciation ceremony, where a few of the believers, majority of the believers took it very seriously, took that activity very seriously. They touched my heart. And one person in particular wrote something so powerful that it touched my heart. It like pierced my heart and told me, Todd, you have to admit the truth to yourself. You have to admit that you had this exact same thought as this person. And I shared with all of you last month that it was that thought. I had just come back from Hawaii, from caring for my parents, when on Monday, and every Monday I come to church. That particular Monday, I came, and it was that particular spot that made me I came to church, and I just turned right around and I left. Turned right around and left. And it forced me to think. And it made me realize, wow, I have had this particular thought. And it is a gobure, or a reverence, to the late Mrs. Sheila Chapman. How dare I have such a thought? Because her virtue, her heart, her goyo is a part of this Hiromai. Regardless if she's in Austin, Texas or not, she is a part of this Hiromai. Her prayers are part of this altar setting. She is a part of this church. And it made me realize, Todd, you got to change that thinking, because I am turning the valve to tight. I am tightening this valve. How can people receive okage if I have such a thought about this Hiromai? And so that particular week, when I had that epiphany, when that particular, and you know who you are, I've said, you know who you are, you know what you wrote, and it touched me, and I thank you for it. That day when I was cleaning, I apologized, and I apologized, and I apologized, and I apologized, and I apologized. I apologize on behalf of myself. I apologize on behalf of those who do not respect the sanctity of this hiromai, who take it for granted, who take it just as a space, who don't realize it. I apologize. And through the cleaning, I also began saying thank you to Sheila. I kept saying thank you to Kami-sama for allowing me this goyo. Thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity of taking care of 3 different worship halls. Now just 2, but back then it was 3. In the process of cleaning, and allowed me to change my thoughts. And even now, my thoughts are, when I come here, this is Kami-sama's home. This is a sanctuary of virtue, a sanctuary where people run to church, not run away from church. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. Because I want to make sure that that fountain stays open. And I know there's people like, I'm going to call you out. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to call you out. Jennifer Tishiro, I really appreciate you because she comes here. She has this very powerful mind. And, she comes here and she does goyo for, I don't have to. She knows what her goyo is. I appreciate when she does her goyo here. I appreciate, and I'm not going to tell you what kind of goyo she does. She knows what kind of goyo she does, but I appreciate it because she's helping me to turn the faucet, keep that faucet open so the toku can gush out and continue to gush out to help people. I truly appreciate that. Sorry, Jennifer, if I called you up, I had to because you just inspire me. So thank you, Jennifer. So, but truly, that is so important. That is truly important. How we care for this space, our thoughts. This now extends. As we turn the valve open, we keep that valve open. This extends to the third fountain. As Konko Kyoji taught us, the third fountain is in our homes, our home altars. We have the ability to create a power spot in our very, very homes. This hiromai, even though it's within the home of the Spies family, this is a power spot. The Chula Vista Kosha is a power spot. The North County San Diego Gathering is a power spot. Each individual church is a power spot of virtue. And that now, as we turn open that spout, as we keep that spout open, gushing with virtue, then it goes into those people's, our members' homes. It goes into their cars. I don't know if you've ever seen, there's this, I don't have one here at the moment. I think I have it all back at the Chula Vista Kosha, but it looks like an omamori, but it's not an omamori. What it is we give this when believers buy a new car. We do a ohai kanshasai upon the car. We bless the car. We thank the car. We purify the car. And then we give that person this, and we call it's not an omamori, but it's a kotsu anzen, a reminder to pray, a reminder while we're driving to turn our hearts to Kami-sama. Your car can become a power spot of virtue. Your home. I don't know about all of you, but at my workplace, I have a secret spot where I have goshinmai. And where that goshinmai is my power spot, where I turn my heart to Kami-sama. Something happens, I turn to Kami-sama. When I'm not sure, I turn to Kami-sama. When I get to work, I turn to Kami-sama. Just before I leave, I always turn to that spot. I say, thank you to Kami-sama for protecting my students, for protecting me, for caring for me for this job. In the car, I have that. I don't have it hanging, but I have it in the car, and I pray. Even my mom's car, my dad's car has it. When I think it's close to 10 years now that I was in a huge car accident, and I should be dead. I really should be dead. But my heart was always, whenever I was in the car, I always prayed to Kami-sama. I asked Kami-sama to protect me, to protect the car. I always ask Kami-sama to watch over me, watch over the car. And after I finished driving, I would thank Kami-sama for that. That my car became a power spot of virtue. So when when I was rear-ended, and it was a really bad accident. I took the brunt of it. This lady was going at a ridiculous speed, where I ended up hitting the car in front. The car in front hit another car. It was a 4-car accident. Even though I didn't come out 100% unscathed, but I should have been dead. According to the police officer, my head should have gone right through the glass. I should have gone right through that, according to the officer, because that's how bad the accident was. So, just turning my heart to Kami-sama in the car, you turn that car into a power spot. That is the third fountain, where we are. Your homes, your individual altars at your homes. Maybe you have just a goshinmai at your place. That is a power spot. If you have, I know Alberto is one of our members in Mexico City. He has his own beautiful altar. That is a power spot. That is a power spot of virtue. And again, it's how we care for that spot. How we care for it is important. Do we clean it? Do we pray before it? Do we offer morning greetings, evening greetings? Do we offer hatsumizu? What do we do? How do we care for this spot? What are our thoughts towards this altar? Whether it be a goshinmai, because some people can't have big areas. One of our members doesn't have a big area. He just rents a room. And so his altar is a small one. That small area can become the third fountain of virtue. But how we care for it, our thoughts about that spot makes a difference. Our thoughts, how our actions will dictate whether that fountain, that valve is open or it tightens. Opens or it tightens. I owe so much to my father, who, I don't say this very often, but I'm going to say this, who taught me in his own actions about opening that valve. Who taught that to me. I owe the believers of the Honolulu church so much, because they taught me to open that valve. How to go about opening the valve. How to go about opening the valve and keeping the valve at church open. How to keep the valve at our homes open. Because let me tell you, these members at Honolulu Church are just, I tip my hat off to them. I owe them a great deal. I truly do. They are my inspiration. They truly are. So, if you look at question 9, so after 7, where is the third fountain? 8 is the flow. So is the flow at your home constant? Ask yourselves. I will be honest. I'll go back to number 5 later on, but look at number 8. Is your flow at your own place constant? Yes or no? And I ask you, what will you do? What will you do to keep that valve open? What will you do to keep that valve open? Let me give you all a minute to contemplate number 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Let me give you all a minute to contemplate and write your answers there. Go for it. About 20 more seconds. 10 more seconds, sorry. All right. So um, that's pretty powerful, huh? So let me go with that. I'd like to respond to four. Question number 4. If you look at the worksheet, it says, where is the second fountain? We know that the second fountain is for us here in San Diego, we have 3 of them. It's North County San Diego Gathering, which is located within the home of the Miyai, this is Chiyoko Miyai. Here at the San Diego Church, which is located in the home of the Spis Ohana, and then also Chula Vista Kosha, which is located in my apartment as well. So we have 3. We're very, very fortunate to have 3 different areas that we can pull toku from. Toku just flows. I cannot speak for Mrs. Miyai. That I cannot speak for. Since moving here, I've not met her at all. I wish I could meet her, but she's kind of a very private person at the moment. But the question is the flow, we're talking about the second fountain, is the flow constant? I have to be honest. I'm going to be honest about the San Diego Hiromaya and the Chula Vista Kosha. I'm going to say no, it's not constant. I believe there are times when it gets turned off, or it gets turned where very little virtue is flowing out of this valve. And I really believe that has to do with not just myself, but those whose thoughts and actions are not aligned with Kami-sama, to allow that valve to open. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest. I'm very grateful that there are members whose thoughts and their actions align with Kami-sama to help keep that valve open, who helped to keep that valve open, who helped me to turn that valve, righty, tighty, lefty, loose, to the left to keep that valve open. And I think it's so important that we as ministers have to acknowledge this. And I'm not talking from a believer's perspective. I'm talking from a minister's perspective. We have to be honest about that to ourselves. Are we doing enough to help believers recognize the sanctity of the Hiromai? To help them to want to do goyo at the Hiromai? I called out Jennifer just recently. I'm so grateful to her because I truly believe Jennifer is someone who has been helping me to keep that valve open, to keep turning it to the left. I'm so grateful to her. I truly am very grateful to her. I'm grateful to people like Nico Sanchez who helped me to keep the valve open at the Whittier Church. To help me turn that valve so that people can receive toku, people can receive okage, people can come to that power spot which was located there in Whittier. I'm kind of amazed because Kyoso-sama taught us that even though you live in a place where there's no churches, all it takes is one person with faith. That's the most important thing. One person with faith and practices faith, to affect that community, to change that community, to make a difference in that community, for that community to receive okage. I cannot help to think that where the Chula Vista Kosha is, I've seen such a change. Slowly seeing such a change. Like right down the road from me, their new development is growing. We keep praying that there's new development, that where the Chula Vista Kosha is, that there will be new development, that it will be a safe area, and has been a very, very safe area. We have new development happening within where I live. Kyoso-sama taught that to us in that teaching. Kyoso-sama taught that to us. It makes sense then why the 3 fountains of virtues make sense. So from headquarters, that virtue trickles down to places of gathering, such as the Verli Court Hiromai, the San Diego Church, the North County San Diego Gathering, and the Chula Vista Kosha. That virtue from these spots then trickle down to members' homes, where members are, to their individual altars, to their individual hearts. That's where it trickles down to. And that's what makes it so powerful. It makes sense. It makes absolute sense. So Kyoji Sensei then said these 3 fountains of virtue becomes the 3 fountains of faith. When you think about it, to continue to cultivate the virtue, we need to cultivate our faith in the form of action, not just words, not just prayer, but action. Action. Not just action, but also our thoughts. These fountains help us to cultivate help our faith. They become the 3 fountains of faith. So, Kyoji Sensei, I thank you. For those of you who have your own home altars, when I taught this during the Shintoku Academy back in Hawaii, the action that took place next, which really gave me chicken skin. I think you people here on the continent call it goosebumps. Sorry, we call it chicken skin back home. I think in Japanese it's torihara. And so was this. After the students learned this, the activity was we went into the Honolulu Church's hiromae. And without making a noise, for half an hour, we were to clean the entire hiromae. I just took things out. We took things out, and they took whatever they wanted to, and they cleaned it. I said, please clean the seats and whatever else. People started cleaning the benches. I noticed people then started to take stuff out of the benches and start cleaning where the books were. They cleaned that section. I didn't say anything. They cleaned. And then someone said, oh, wait, I better, let me grab a broom. And someone started sweeping. Someone started to clean the side doorway. And then after that half an hour was finished, we stayed in the hiromae. I said, what did you just do right now? What did you just do? And we talked about jitsui teine, or a sincerity and conscientiousness in doing this goyo. And one girl, I asked someone, why did you do what she did? And she said, it just felt right. It had to be clean. It wasn't being cleaned. It had to be cleaned. These areas had to be clean. I asked the person who swept, why did you do that? I didn't tell you to do that. She goes, but it had to be cleaned, or it wouldn't have been clean. That sense of jitsui teine, they acted upon that, what was in their heart. And then I asked, what did you guys just do right now? And it was Scott Kilowski. I'll never forget what he said. Scott Kilowski said, Sensei, if Kyoji Sensei cleans headquarters hiromae, when he cleans headquarters hiromae, he feels that he's also cleaning each and every church, each and every place of where people gather to pray. In us cleaning this hiromae here, we're not just cleaning the Honolulu Church's hiromae, we're also cleaning the homes of believers. And also, we're cleaning headquarters, altars. I have to tell you, I got chicken skin when he said that. The first part where he says we're cleaning the altars of the believer's home, got that, because I saw the flow. But when he said we are also cleaning the altars at headquarters, that gave me chicken skin because I had not realized that. He said, I began thinking, I have to clean even better. He had to clean every nook and cranny because he wasn't just cleaning his altar from here. He wasn't just cleaning my altar at my home in Waipahu or other people's altars. He was cleaning the altar at headquarters. That's where his thought went, and I got chicken skin. So when Sheila passed away, I remembered all of this. I realized when I take care of this hiromai, when I take care of this altar, when I take care of where the believers sit, I'm not just cleaning the San Diego church. I am not just cleaning the altars of the members. I am cleaning headquarters. Headquarters altars, headquarters hiromai, where people come to worship and pray. So the assignment for all of you is this. If you wish to do it, to clean your own altars. Dr. Eri Yasuhara, when she heard this presentation from Kyoji Sensei, we were in the same group and she said, Todd Sensei, I am so ashamed. I go, why? Why are you so ashamed? Because what Kyoji Sensei said, if it's true, oh my gosh, my altars, I barely clean them. And then the pathway to the altars and in front of the altars, oh my gosh, Todd Sensei, I got to clean that space up. Oh my gosh, it's not right. I got to clean that space up. I'll never forget her saying that. That had such a profound impact on me. So I ask all of you to do the same. And that's all up to you. If you wish to do that, but when you clean your own home altars, remember, you're not just cleaning your own home altars, that space in which you go to worship, to turn to your heart to and pray, or your workspace. You are cleaning this church. You're helping to clean the North County San Diego gathering. You're also helping to clean the Chula Vista Kosha. And at the same time, you're also cleaning headquarters altar, headquarters worship hall. I think that's what makes it very powerful. So Sheila, I've never met you. I've only heard about you. I've heard amazing and wonderful things about you. Thank you. And to that one person who wrote what they wrote, thank you. I really am very grateful for what you wrote. You helped to change me and my heart and my thoughts. So thank you very much. So with that, that's all for today's Shintoku Academy. I hope you all gained something. Hopefully you gained something. Hopefully if you do the activity, which is to clean that space that you have your kami-sama, hopefully you will feel something, realize something. Hopefully you will receive that okage, that epiphany, so that your vow stays open. Oh, sorry, I keep going the wrong way. It's lefty loosey, right? I gotta keep doing this, not righty tighty. I'm doing the wrong thing. Lefty loosey. All right. So before we end today, if you have the chance to, please do the Google form. It's in the description area of the YouTube. So if you go there, please fill out that form. This way, I can definitely put your name into. I won't write it today because I want to give people a chance to write in there. But tomorrow when I come to church, I'll put it definitely inside the book, which is right back there. But I'll definitely look at it when I get home today and write it in the Gokinincho, which is at my place. Next, please note that September 4th at 5:30 p.m. will be the 50-day appreciation memorial for Mrs. Sheila Chapman. This will not be done via YouTube. This will be done via Zoom. The reason why it's being done at 5:30 is because Kenji has asked to make it possible that he wants his kids, Jacob and Jasper, to please be able to attend the service as well. And there's a 2-hour time difference between San Diego and Austin, Texas. So we're doing it at 5:30. So if you're able to, I've taken off the registration portion, so please join us on that day for the 50-day appreciation memorial for Mrs. Sheila Chapman. We will also be honoring her husband, who also happened to pass on the same day, Mr. Kenneth Chapman as well. And for those of you, I hope, for those of you who have asked for some words, I hope you'll be able to share your words with me via video somehow. Just let me know. But anyway, if you're not able to, or you're too shy, write something. I would greatly appreciate it. Next, if you have our Mitama Matsuri is coming up next month. If you have names of people you would like us to remember, recall, and to honor here at the San Diego Worship Hall, please know we don't do a kaishiki or mitama conversion to Kongoku. I don't do that at all. They're just remember, unless you ask for it, I don't do that at all. But if you could provide their names and the date that they were born and they were passed away, we can call their name out not just during Mitama Matsuri, during the autumn grand memorial service ceremony, but the month that they passed away, we can honor them and remember them. If I could get their names by September 6th, I would greatly appreciate that. That would help me out a lot. September 8th that's a Sunday. That will be the monthly service for the San Diego Church. Then September 21st at 3:00 p.m. That's a Saturday. That'll be the calling of the names of the deceased. As I shared with all of you before, because Whittier Church is going through a transition period at the moment, they've asked us to please include them here at our services. So the number of names, I'm working to try to figure out how to get all of them in without calling double time. So please bear with me. I might miss a name or two, or might repeat a name or two, and I apologize for that. But that will take place at 3:00, which means that it will be a rather long service because we're probably calling over 300-400 names at best. Then September 22nd at 11:00 a.m. will be our Autumn Grand Memorial Ceremony. So again, this will be broadcast also on YouTube, but it'll also be live. So I encourage all of you to join us live. Please note that I will, right after service, we'll have a small little gathering, but then we'll be leaving early because I'm also leaving that day. I have to return back to Hawaii, and my flight is that same day. So my bags have to be packed before that day so I can get home, change clothes, and zip myself over to the airport. And finally, I was told I'm supposed to tell everyone to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So with that, thank you all very much for joining us at our Sunday service, as well as Shintoku Mini Academy. I really hope you gained something from it. I hope that for those of you who realize this is what I do or this is what I'm not doing, you realize, okay, what can I do? Or you gain something to help further your faith. Again, these 3 fountains of virtue will become our 3 fountains of faith, right? From our thoughts into our actions, and what we do will make a big difference in our lives and our faith. So please, I look forward to hearing from all of you. If you have questions, please send those questions over to me by email. I want to be able to I have a list of questions so far that I want to use to start making Instagram videos based off of those questions to be able to respond to them. But thank you all very much once again for joining us. I hope you all take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. And until September 1st, next week, Wednesday, which is the Chula Vista Kosha's monthly service, please take care. Please stay safe. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. Have a wonderful week. Ahui ho malama pono. Now I got to figure out how to remove this. There we go. Malama pono. Thank you.